Hi friend, in this video I'm going to share with you 3 absolutely fundamental and essential principles that you need to have and understand and follow when you're dealing with an addiction in early recovery. These are essential and they are uniform with everyone who goes through the recovery process. So if you're struggling with an addiction and new into treatment, please listen in on this video as I have a lot to share with you regarding these 3 basic principles. Hi, my name is Bernie from Tiger Resilience, where we offer addiction solutions for family members and friends who have a loved one who is struggling with addiction. I'm going to share with you this absolute essential understanding of these 3 principles, which are vital for your loved one who is struggling with an addiction in their early recovery. It's imperative for both the individual who is struggling and in the recovery process, as well as the family members and friends who support them, to understand these 3 principles. They are not optional, they are imperative in the early stages of recovery. So without further ado, let's go into all 3 of these. But before I do that, it's going to be important that I at least explain, through a definition, what is an actual principle. And I often talk about this in many of my programs. Principles are timeless. They are not bound by time. They're not bound by race, creed, color. The principle of honesty is the same as it is today, as it will be 1,000 years from now, as it was 1,000 years prior. We may change the words, semantics can shift from time to time, but the principles behind it are uniform for us in the human condition. So let's talk about what is a principle. Let's discuss that right now. So, the definition of a principle is a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as a foundation for a system of belief or behavior. It's foundational, and I want to really leave that as a takeaway here because it's essential in understanding that these principles I'm going to share with you are foundational when it comes to someone struggling with an addiction in the early recovery process. So, let's take a walk through some of these first individually, and then I will explain them in detail as we go through the process. So the first principle to understand in somebody who's just gotten into recovery, they've just stopped their drug use, they've gone through potentially a detoxification, and now they're starting their journey. So what is that first principle? The principle of feeling. And so what do I mean by that? Well, in the throes of addiction, an individual has been numb for quite a period of time. The truth is that when you use a psychoactive substance, you're changing your state, you're changing this. And for the most part, most individuals who are struggling with addictions and are deep into the throes of it, they're certainly not having any fun. And in fact, they're not getting high anymore. They're just trying to feel normal. So with all that being said, there is a ton of emotions. There's a ton of issues that are going on that they have been stuffing down for a long time. And it's imperative for you to understand that in order to get this process started, they are going to begin to feel. It's going to be like opening up a wound because there's going to be a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of feelings. There's going to be a lot of things that are underlying in that. But I also like to encourage individuals to know that this is where the pain is going to escape. When you start the feeling process, you're going to remove the pain that you've been struggling with. And that process can take a little bit of time. It's usually in the very beginning. There isn't a time frame that I can give you about it, but it is certainly in the very beginning throes of the recovery process. You are definitely going to have to deal with the feeling. The feelings that you have are absolutely going to come to the surface. If you consider it like a scab, if I had a scab on my hand and then I take the scab off, I'm going to have some raw skin. I'm going to have raw nerves. I'm going to have a raw area in my body that's going to be open and exposed, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's exactly what happens in the early stages of recovery with the first principle, and that principle is feel. Once again, this is also why it's so challenging for individuals to be successful in recovery and why it is such a difficult process, because this is a breakthrough process and it's very hard for individuals to go through. The good news is it's not a long duration, and once you've passed through this threshold, you can begin your journey. But you must deal with the feelings first and foremost, is having to feel and coming through with all those emotions. But you must understand that the feelings are going to be something that you will have to attend to. They will be the healing process, and I actually look at them as if the poison is leaving your body when all of the feelings start to emerge. You're clearing out your body system. If I had a wound and I'm cleaning out the dirt and the debris and maybe the old pus and whatever might be in that wound without being too disgusting, that's the process of letting feelings out. You have to clean them out before the wound can heal. So then what's the next principle if we have this one here? So let's take a look. The next one is, of course, we're going to have to deal. And what do I mean by that? We're going to have to deal with the feelings, the emotions, all of that baggage that's been carried on for a long period of time or through the throes of the addiction, however long that may be for the individual. I'm generally looking at certainly a substantial amount of time, maybe a year or more. But the challenges here are now you have to deal with it. All of the baggage that surfaces right now, and this could include your health, this could include a lot of different relationships, this could include employment, this could include financial. Dealing with all of these situations in early recovery also becomes a challenge. That's why it's so powerful to have somebody who is in your court, a loved one, a sponsor, a peer support, somebody who's going to be there to help walk you through that so that you're not on that journey alone. You have to walk in the front of the line. You do have to take care of that issue. You have to deal with this. But you can have supports along the way, and those supports are what are absolutely essential when it comes to early recovery. I can't emphasize that enough. Whether it's a family member, a close friend, an associate, a spouse, a child, it's irrelevant. It's the fact that you have a support person behind you. And it's absolutely crucial to assist you on this, especially at this point right now when you have to start dealing with the feeling. So what is the next step after dealing? Of course, this is where we heal. This is the foundation of the beginning of your journey. This is where the mindfulness, this is where you reach your soul's code. This is where you really begin your new journey. You're clearing out the baggage and you're beginning your journey anew. It's like driving your vehicle now, staring through the windshield finally as you head forward on your journey, and you're no longer staring at a rear view mirror on your journey moving forward. If anyone has ever attempted to do that, and I do not encourage it, you cannot drive your car down a highway staring at your rear view mirror. And that's what represents the past. And obviously the past right now is having to go through the emotional baggage and dealing with that an individual in early recovery has just come through. So the healing process is where you find your peace. It's where you find your serenity. It's where you find your strength. It's also where you find your newfound interests or old interests revisited. It's also your ability to transcend all the adversity you've just come through and the beginning of your new life. And I say new life because each one of us at the end of the day, when we put our head on the pillow and the day turns over to the next morning and that sun rises once again, which it will, whether we're here or not, when that new day starts and you get your head off the pillow, you've got a brand new 24. And the only thing that separates all of us as human beings is what do you do in your 24? And I really encourage you to understand that because in early recovery, you may have a lot of ambitions and there's a lot of things that you can do. And I certainly encourage you to move forward on all of your dreams and aspirations. Do not take the word no as not possible. Take it as maybe it's a sign just for that temporary moment if you hear that word. But know in your heart, if you're following this, your compass, which is right here, your true compass, which is your true north based on your value system and who you are as a person. I call it my personal constitution, who I am in here. Soul's code, whatever you may use as terms. But at the end of the day, that journey that you're on right now is brand new. So once again, you're no longer dealing with the feelings and you're no longer having to deal with the baggage because you've taken care of that. So now that healing journey begins, and this is where your life begins anew. And I can't encourage you enough to please understand these three principles because they're very powerful to know. You have to feel, then you have to deal, and then you will heal. And along that journey, I encourage you, please have somebody to assist you, to be the support. You will still be in the front of the line, but if you have someone helping you, you will absolutely, positively have a completely different outcome if you were to try and attempt this on your own. Most people I've worked with in my 25 years working as a clinician have never really been successful without the assistance of others. We all need somebody. This is a game where we cannot play alone. We need to have people in our court. We need to network, and we need to have individuals, because they're our accountability buddies. They're also the people that will give us the positive feedback we need. And they'll also be the cheerleaders when things are not going right and they're not going well. They're going to be back there with you and saying, hey, you got this. So once again, the 3 principles absolutely necessary for early recovery, understanding them: feeling, dealing, then healing. If you find any value in this video, could you please consider subscribing to our channel? It would benefit us by allowing us the opportunity to be able to put this information out to further families and individuals struggling with addiction. And that is our primary goal here. I'm not looking to sell you anything. This is information that has been used for many, many years. And in our programs, we are very successful with it. So if possible, please consider subscribing to our channel. I want to thank you very much for taking a moment out of your busy life to review this video. I hope that once again you get some value out of it. Please know that there is hope, there is a solution, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It is not a train. I thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you again on our next podcast. My name is Bernie from Tiger Resilience, where we offer addiction solutions for family members and friends who have a loved one struggling with an addiction.